Welcome to the channel. It's your host, the Lion Gaming Crew, and today we got a new build guide for you guys, and this time we're going to be covering the Mundungu's Regalia for the Witch Doctor, available both in hardcore and softcore, so no matter which mode you play on PS4/PS5, and coming soon, Xbox 360 and Xbox Series X/X, we got you covered, man. So coming soon, that Xbox players, I see you guys. Coming soon, we're going to add everything, man, I promise. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right on into this build, guys. So for our weapon right here, we're picking up the Vooz Juicer. And I think when I update this set, I'm probably going to switch it out for a rare item, just so it's easier to like identify. It has the code name on there and everything. But other than that, though, everything will be staying the same. It has the Season 25 Soul Shard affix on there and the Gem of Ease. 1,958,385 damage, not bad at all. Reduces cooldown of all skills by 56.9%, reduces all resource costs by 19%, and it says Spirit Barrage gains the effect of the Phlebotomize, and the Spirit is Willing runes. So very nice, because we're going to be using Spirit Barrage as our main damage dealing attack. For the first piece of the Mundungu's Regalia set, we're picking up the gloves right here, codenamed Haunt. Not too much to talk about on here. It's got a little bit of percent damage, 100%. 9,000 intelligence is the big piece right there, though. Cooldown of all skills, 19%. 15% damage to elite enemies. We have the full set with the Ring of Royal Grandeur, so if you need that, make sure to include that in your request message. 2-piece, 4-piece, 6-piece set bonus shown on screen right now. If you want to go ahead and pause the video and take a look at that in greater detail, by all means. This is a level 1 Primal Ancient set gloves. Moving on to the shoulders, the second piece of the Mundungu's Regalia set right here. Same deal, pretty much the same. It's almost identical to that previous piece of gear, so we're just going to move on to the next piece of gear right here. This is a level 1 Primal Ancient set shoulders. For the chest piece, third piece of the Mundungu's Regalia set, again really hitting all major categories. 10,000 intelligence is just crazy. 27.1% cooldown of all skills, again that 15% damage to elite enemies, and this is a level 1 Primal Ancient set chest armor. For the helm, this is where things start to switch up a little bit. We have 440% critical hit damage to push us to the cap, 14% critical hit chance, 260 resist all, 9,000 intelligence, 17,000 life after each kill, which is very nice, and 38,625 life from health potions and globes. 1,000 to all stats, the Season 25 affix for casting a devastating ring of fire after killing 100 enemies, and on top of all of that, it is infused with the red soul shard, so you're periodically going to struggle for control, unleashing a devastating ring of fire that inflicts 20,000% weapon damage to enemies it passes through. On top of all of that, cooldown of all skills, 34.4%, and a 15% damage to elite enemy bonus. Level 1 Primal Ancient set Voodoo Mask. Going on to the amulet now, this is a level 1 rare amulet, buffing all main stats, but you get 10,000 to intelligence, which is very, very nice. The life per hit is another one that just speaks to me, 143,700 life per hit, which is just insanity, such a big number. 12,000 regular damage, 1,800% damage, which is so, so nice. And you get all of the other bonuses shown on screen right here. This has the invigorating gemstone in there, so you're never going to get stunned from the helm, which is very, very nice. And you also get the grave injustice passive, which is nice, very, very nice. And it also has a perk on there that buffs your Spirit Barrage, which is just super nice because that's like our main damage dealing attack. So it's perfect, man. It's perfect. I try to make these perfect, you know what I mean? Reduces cooldown of all skills 65.1%. Resource cost 46.8%, 45% damage to elite enemies, and 25% movement speed, which is the cap. Moving on to the bracers, these are the Lacumba's Ornament, codenamed Haunt, which basically just buffs us. It reduces the damage taken by 60% if your Soul Harvest stack is at least 1, an additional 2% for each stack of Soul Harvest, which is nice. 8,000 intelligence, 300% damage, 260 resist all, 22 mana per second, reduces cooldown of all skills by 27.1%, resource cost reduction 10%, and a 15% damage to elite enemies. For the offhand right here, this is the Gazing Demise, codenamed Haunt, again hitting really every single category. It's got regular damage, percent damage, intelligence, attack speed, critical hit chance, life per hit, mana per second, and you also get some movement speed increase after picking up a health globe, and this also buffs your damage of your Spirit Barrage by 150%, and Spirit Barrage gains the Phantasm rune, which lasts twice as long, and the attack rate from Mana 2 Specters is increased. 19% for skill and resource cost reduction, very nice, and 15% damage to the enemies. First ring right here, this is the 1 billion physical skill damage ring, 13,000 regular damage, 1,900% damage, 30% critical hit chance, 119,750 life per hit. It ignores durability loss, 200% damage to all decay skills, which is very nice. 1 to maximum damage per Paragon level up to 800, and you get a move speed increase after picking up a health globe, 40% for 7 seconds, and all of the other affixes and bonuses shown on screen right here. You get regenerate 160,000 life per second from the Molten Wildebeest Gizzard. Cooldown of all skills 61.2%. Resource cost reduction 52.1%. And a whopping 60% damage to the enemies. Level 1 rare ring. For the second ring, this is the test ring 516, the immortal variant, so you're never going to die while wearing this. And it also has 70 yards on the gold/health pickup radius, which is just crazy. This also ignores durability loss, 5,000 intelligence, 6,000 damage, 800% damage, 650 resist all elements, which is just so crazy. This one buffs your voodoo skills, 200% damage to all voodoo skills, and you get all of the other bonuses shown on screen right here. This is some of these are from season 25, the soul shard, like the one right, both of the fatal damages are on the immortal ring. I did that because I just want to see how it would look with both of them. So the one that says when receiving fatal damage, you are instead restored to 100% of maximum life and resources. This item is destroyed in the process. That is built into the test ring 516. So that's the life immortality part, and then the second part is the soul shard. On receiving fatal damage, spawn a shadow clone that prevents your death and restores your health to 35%, and grants plus 225 all resist to all party members while it is active. The shadow only lasts 15 seconds. Reduces cooldown of all skills by 56.9%, resource cost reduction 40.9%, and a 45% damage to the enemy bonus. Moving on to the fifth piece of the Mundungu's Regalia set, the boots, codenamed Haunt. Really good, 300% damage, 8,000 intelligence, 22 mana per second, which is always nice to see. Cooldown of all skills 27.1%, reduces all resource costs by 10%, and a 15% damage to the enemy's bonus. Level 1 Primal Ancient Set boots. Now we get into the Captain Crimson set. This is the Captain Crimson's Thrust, codenamed Haunt. Again, pretty much identical to that previous piece of gear we just looked at. 27.1% for cooldown of all skills, 10% for resource cost reduction, and 15% to bonus damage to the enemies. Level 1 Primal Ancient Set pants, and we have the 2-piece and 3-piece set bonus for this set, again using that Ring of Royal Grandeur to capitalize off of that. And the final piece of gear to show you guys today is the Captain Crimson Silk Girdle, codenamed Haunt. 300% damage, 8,000 intelligence, 22 mana per second, cooldown of all skills 27.1%, 10% resource cost reduction, and 15% damage to the enemies, and that is a level 1 Primal Ancient Set belt. Now the fun part. So for our X ability, we're going to be picking up Big Bad Voodoo with the rune Slam Dance. For our R2 main damage dealing attack in the Decay skill tree, we're going to be picking up Spirit Barrage with the rune Phantasm. For the Square ability in the Terror skill tree, we're going to be picking up Soul Harvest with the rune Soul to Waste. For the Triangle ability in that secondary skill tree, we're going to be picking up Haunt with the rune Lingering Spirit. For an AoE effect skill, we're going to be picking up Piranhas in the Decay skill tree with the rune Piranhado. And finally, for that mobility skill in the defensive skill tree, we're picking up Spirit Walk with the rune Severance. Passive number 1, Confidence Ritual. Passive number 2, Swampland Attunement. Passive number 3, Spirit Vessel. Passive number 4, Fierce Loyalty. And for the Q powers, we're picking up Shuriken's Triumph, Belt of Transcendence, and the Ring of Royal Grandeur. The first two can be changed out for whatever you want, but the Ring of Royal Grandeur is going to be needed to get the 3-piece for the Captain Crimson set and the full piece for the Mundungu's Regalia. Touching on Paragon, everything into vitality. Movement speed is capped. Mana is good to go because of the mana regen. Intelligence is already high enough. For the offensive skill tree, just attack speed, that's really the only one. These two down here, critical chance and critical damage, are both capped, and cooldown reduction is good to go. For the defensive skill tree, I would say armor and probably life regen, and then maybe life, you know. These three stats are always very, very important, so you want to cap those out before resist all, I think, in this occasion. For the utility skill tree, I would say gold pickup radius to get it to 80 yards, and then resource cost reduction. So before we jump into the gameplay portion, we're going to take a look at the final numbers. So we're coming at 131,302,670,336 damage, which isn't the highest, but it's really, really good for this class. 126,817 for intelligence. 34,370 for armor. Moving on down into the offensive stuff right here, 300% damage, bonus damage to elites, not bad at all. Critical hit chance and critical hit damage, both capped at their respective values. Moving on down to cooldown reduction, 99.85%. Oh, we did it again, baby. We did it again, bros. Look at that, man. 99.85%. Oh, it just feels so good to say. Damage reduction, 90.76%. Resistances almost capped at 97.76% for all of them, which is just so crazy. Look at those. Look at that value. 15,280, guys. That is insane. Moving on down into the life. Total life bonus 361%. Total life per second 166,000 from the Molten Wildebeest Gizzard and some other random stuff. Life per kill 17,376 from the helm. Life per hit 287,000 from the rings. Health globe healing bonus 38,625 from the helm. Bonus to gold / globe radius 70 yards, which is just so crazy. And the mana cost reduction 94.83% with a mana regen of 160 per second, which is almost a quarter of that total maximum mana value. So that's like really good on that regen. Movement speed capped at 25%, and bonus experience per kill 8,000 from the Gem of Ease. So finally, with all of that taken care of, let's go ahead and jump into a 150 so I can show you guys how to work this build. It's a lot of fun, man. Now the Witch Doctor I'm really bad with, guys, so like you can't hate me too much for really sucking with this class. But how I play this build is I try to get my Soul Harvest stacks up, because I mean that gives us increased movement speed, so you know that's like a priority. And then after that, I basically just will run around in spirit walk form. I'll be casting my Haunt continuously because we have that set up to like go to alternate enemies after they're all dead, which is very nice. So I would say you get about 5 of those going, and if there's no enemies near you, they'll circle around you, and then as soon as you run into a mob pack, they'll all get cast, which is very good. If you run into a big group of enemies, go ahead and knock them out with your Piranha Dough, man. That's going to deal a lot of damage, so you could easily clear a whole room with that. Other than that, though, Spirit Barrage R2 main damage dealing attack. This is a very good attack because you can cast it from very far away. So you can pretty much hit enemies that are like off screen by just positioning your left joystick in the correct positions, you know, obviously like in the direction that the enemy is in, but you can hit them from 20 to 25 yards away, I would say easily, which is very nice. So what else can I say about this? So yeah, just make sure you have, you know, your Soul Harvest stacks up to get increased movement speed. That's not really that big of a deal, though. It's not going to make or break your run, like if you forget to keep your Soul Harvest stacks up. Other than that, though, Big Bad Voodoo pretty much follows you around. So like, just cast that, I would say, about every 20 to 30 seconds. I mean, you'll be able to tell like when it's not around you because there's like a glowing animation on your character, and that's the Big Bad Voodoo. Other than that, though, this build is very beginner friendly. It's basically just spamming your R2, you know, channeling that and dealing massive amounts of damage. Now, we get the Spirit Barrage gets buffed from our weapon, from our offhand, and from the amulet. So this thing is dealing some crazy high damage numbers. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this build. Clear speeds are right around 2 minutes to 2.5 minutes. Sorry, I could not say that. With the longest one being around like 3.5 minutes. It really just depends on your Rift, you know what I mean? If you have the NEM bracers on, or if you don't have the NEM bracers on. You guys know how Rift times can go, but I try to get these builds to be very consistent. So like, it usually hits, you know, in the same range of numbers, if that makes any sense. So finally, I'd like to thank you all for watching, man. I could not do this without your guys' support. So if you're new here and you like the content and the style of these videos, then maybe consider hitting that subscribe button, as that is the best way to show your support to me and the community that we're trying to build here. And finally, man, if you made it all the way till the end, you are an absolute legend. I appreciate you so much, and I hope to catch you all in a future video coming out soon. Stay safe, stay happy, and last but not least, stay gaming, my friends.